Chris Lee and Blayne Gilmer of Southeastern 14. We are reacting to news pretty much as it happens. This is Thursday morning, January the 19th, and Ole Miss's quarterback room is getting really crowded, Blayne. Jaxson Dart already there, returning as a starter after transferring from Southern Cal a year ago. Walker Howard, who was a top 50 recruit in last year's class, a very talented player who'd been at LSU but was the third quarterback. Some considered him the future of that program. He left the quarterback room to transfer to another one that was a little crowded yesterday, but now a lot more crowded with an addition to Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State, who'd been a 4-year starter there. What in the world? How do they sort this out?
Really remarkable, and it's kind of indicative of the age of college football that we're in now, right, with the NIL and the transfer portal, because undoubtedly I'm sure Ole Miss's collective is rewarding these commitments handsomely. I mean, not in an illegal way. That's just the way it goes now. People are coming as partially because of these NIL deals that they can garner. Walker Howard undoubtedly wanted a chance to come in and be developed under Lane Kiffin, who has a really good track record for quarterback play and coaching quarterbacks. But the thing about it is, yesterday Walker Howard probably thought he was in a one-on-one battle with Jaxson Dart. Now, hey, kudos to Lane Kiffin if he was upfront and honest, saying we're going out and getting more guys, or told him about Spencer Sanders coming into it. I guess time will tell, because as we pointed out, Chris, at this point, as you and I speak, these are just commitments. It's not binding, in terms of anything been signed or anything yet. So who knows if that ends up sticking. But, Chris Lowe reporting that Spencer Sanders is coming in. And this is a guy, as you mentioned, 4-year starter, had almost 10,000 yards passing in his career, almost 2,000 yards rushing in Mike Gundy's offense. And he goes from one brilliant offensive mind in Mike Gundy to another in Lane Kiffin. So things are about to get interesting in Oxford in terms of a quarterback battle. We thought that Alabama and Georgia were going to have interesting quarterback battles. I'm not sure there's a more interesting quarterback battle in the SEC than Ole Miss.
Okay, I got a lot of questions here, but let's start with this one. How do you rank these three guys right now?
I mean, I think just from experience and the ability to do both, can beat you with his feet and with his arm, you would have to go with Spencer Sanders. Listen, I mean, kind of too, you got to think about reputation of program, right? Because if you're going out and getting guys, especially guys who are upperclassmen, right, like only have 1 year of eligibility left, kind of tends to have to be their job, or you might not end up getting those guys in the future. Now, I know nothing's promised, and the old school days of football, well, everything's got to be earned. Everybody's got to win the position. I see that, but I would say Spencer Sanders has got to be the favorite, even with Jaxson Dart being the returning starter. Now, Jaxson Dart has the advantage of knowing Lane Kiffin's system over those two guys, but goodness gracious, if you're Jaxson Dart, this has to feel like an indictment, doesn't it, Chris? Of, hey, Lane Kiffin isn't real happy with where he sits with the quarterback room, even though I'm the returning starter.
Well, look, I mean, I saw him make some bad throws at times a year ago, so there was that. And just as a footnote, Luke Altmaier was their backup the last couple years. He is now, I believe, transferred to Illinois. So just in case folks are wondering about that element, there you go. But how do you handle spring practice, Blayne? Because you can't get everybody reps. And I think all three of those guys are probably going to walk in wanting him like they're the number one guy. I may be speaking out of turn, but that's one of the first things I'm thinking about, having been to, I don't know, a couple hundred spring practice sessions, covering SEC football. Like, how do you manage that?
The benefit that Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss have is the tempo that they run with. So by nature of that, purely, they're going to get more reps in than a lot of teams do. Also, too, I mean, a lot of the Ole Miss offense is predicated off of Quinshon Judkins and the run game. And I think, whichever one of these quarterbacks early on can start to show, okay, this is going to make Quinshon Judkins even more of a threat by their proficiency with passing, but also their threat to keep the ball and run. I know Jaxson Dart was a successful runner last year, but he's not what Spencer Sanders was. Spencer Sanders is a an elite runner of the football, especially with how Mike Gundy used him. And Walker Howard, is a guy that has a good set of wheels himself. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how these guys operate within the confines of spring practice. But as you pointed out, maybe you can split those reps in that first week or so, but you get 15 practices in the spring, and by spring ball, Lane Kiffin's going to have something nailed down. As even last year, it was kind of split between Dart and Altmaier, but now you got three guys that you're having to come in there and parse it up between. So it's going to be fascinating to watch.
To the Walker Howard end of things, I guess he's no worse off than he was at LSU, where he was behind Daniels, and Garrett Nussmeier seemed to clearly be the number two. We have talked about his tremendous arm strength, and so I guess maybe he's no worse off by leaving Baton Rouge and going to Oxford, but he's no better off than he was, I guess, at the same time. Ole Miss also was at one point chasing Mike Wright from Vanderbilt, who was Vandy's part-time starter. He's not landed anywhere yet. I think he posted photos yesterday on his social media of him leaving campus, that sort of thing. So I don't know where he lands. But here's the other thing. What are the odds that after spring practice, all three guys are still there? Because that's something we talked about, I think, off pod, was that there's nothing saying that one of these guys or two of these guys can't leave after spring practice and go somewhere else.
Well, I know the NCAA is currently working on, with the new president coming in, they're currently working on trying to have some kind of limitations to, they call it the JT Daniels rule. They don't want to see guys bouncing around. And, it seems like these former USC quarterbacks, Jaxson Dart, JT Daniels, have some issues when it comes to transferring to somewhere and holding on to a job, right? So, we'll see what happens there. It used to be, everybody referred back to Lou Gehrig and Wally Pipp. Now they're going to refer to Stetson Bennett and JT Daniels in terms of getting surpassed via injury. Now it could not even be injury that hurts Jaxson Dart. It'd just be the portal and AKA the portal king. They have hashtags that say transfer to the SIP on social media. Lane Kiffin is all in on this, and he is absolutely, I guarantee he's up front saying, listen, we're going to have guys, we're going to bring more guys in, and we're going to have you compete. So, Walker Howard, Spencer Sanders, Jaxson Dart, they all knew probably this was coming with how Lane Kiffin's nature is. And now, it will be interesting to see. I don't know how quickly you can enter and exit the portal like that, but it wouldn't shock me in today's time if one of these three ends up back in the portal after spring ball's over with during that window.
I want to get your parting thoughts on this. First of all, though, betting $11 to win 10 stinks. With BROTHROW, you bet 10 to win 10. It lets you bet on all 50 states. Because it is not the house, bettors have a fair chance at winning. It is the only sports betting platform that doesn't take a cut of every bet. No minimum deposits, no minimum bets, no need to connect your bank account. Bettors pay each other directly. It is a hassle-free sign-up process that gets you in the action in seconds. Go to brothrow.com/SE14. Ask to join our private group. Get in on the fun today. Okay, Blayne, parting thoughts, anything we didn't cover here that's worth a mention?
I mean, listen, when it comes to the SEC West, okay, a big thing is you have to have composure in those raucous environments. That's one thing that Spencer Sanders is going to bring to this Ole Miss team, is because, Jaxson Dart at times, like you said, looked a little rattled. Walker Howard has absolutely no experience. So I think a savvy move by Lane Kiffin, bringing in a, grizzled veteran, if you will, and Spencer Sanders, who, as we mentioned, elite runner, has improved as a passer over the years, and now is going to be trying his fate in the SEC West, and we'll see how that plays out for Ole Miss. But as we said, Chris, whoever the guy is, the best friend is just turning it and handing it to Quinshon Judkins right there beside you, because he is phenomenal.
All right. He is Blayne Gilmer. I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14. If you like this, help us out. Hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. We cover football, baseball, and basketball in the SEC, wall to wall. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon at Southeastern 14.